It's your neighborhood doc and prof coming at you live Thursday debate amongst friends. Johnny, we got Thursday night football. Ooh, we got a showdown too.
Wait, did you
Ooh,
just look a little Spider-Man in the intro?
yes.
You know what? Good job. I like that. Yes, we do have Thursday night football, the battle of the AFC West as the Kansas City Chiefs take their high-powered offense, but pretty stout defense
Mhm.
over to Los Angeles to take on Go Chargers Go. They are a 3-point favorite, the Chiefs are. And
Mhm.
a lot of predictions have them winning by at least 4 points, 27-23. I mean, this game has so much weight behind it. This is probably the only Thursday night football game that's been hype, bro, that we probably had all year, that will probably most likely definitely live up to the expectations of it being hype, Doc. I
I
mean,
think
what do you
we're
think?
gonna see the young boys. The young
Mm,
boys there.
The, the,
Young
the, the
boys?
young
The
boys, the
young
young
boys there.
boys.
Yeah, young boys there. The green boys. The young boys
Well,
there.
neither team wears green, but I got what you
You
got.
know what I
I
mean. You know
know,
what I
I
mean. Come
know,
on. The
I
Green
know.
Boys. You know what the Green Boys is from. Come on. Stay with me here, Johnny. Stay with me.
I'm always,
Um,
I'm
but
always there with you.
with Patrick Mahomes versus Justin Herbert, um, I think this is going to be a great game. Obviously, there are some injury concerns. There are some COVID concerns. One in particular, Eckler. I know he's expected to play, but
Yeah,
are we still without our two top receivers? Which I mean, obviously versus the Giants didn't matter, but this is a completely different story here versus the Chiefs, who are grooving right now. And I think they did it the right way, man. I mean, not letting the press and media get to them. Um, but as
I feel
far
like
as
the only people who let that get to them are the fans,
and the
because
Bills,
the fans like was so toxic.
I was saying the Buffalo Bills. I would say the Bills let the media get to them. I think they stopped playing their game. Like you look at the way the season started. A lot of teams. Remember this? I don't even remember who the three those teams were. Oh, actually, it was the Broncos, Panthers, and I forget who the other team was. But when you go back and think about it, it's like it might have been the Bills.
Yep.
Um, when you go back and just think about those games and how the people who are losing and struggling, it was like, oh my God, this team is struggling, right? It's like, you know, the Patriots, what are they going to do without Tom? Mac Jones is the answer. Oh, Cam Newton, they released Cam Newton. Oh, the Browns, oh, Odell Beckham wants out. Oh my God, is Baker Mayfield the guy? The Steelers, AFC is wide open. AFC playoff picture is so wide open, bro. But I feel like a lot of people haven't bought into to certain things, and the Chiefs kind of just rode that wave.
Yep.
They said, "Hey, we don't care if it looks pretty. We have to just take the W's." And I'm pretty sure that at the end of the year, we're going to get one of those situations where it comes out that you know, Patrick Mahomes has been playing with like a torn rotator cuff or something crazy like that. Just like kind of what Tom Brady was, suffering with his injury all year, but they never really said anything. Or like, you know, Cheetah has like a broken bone in his foot or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Um, but Johnny, we got the Chiefs, we got the Chargers. Who do you have, sir?
I mean, I like to be a scumbag sometimes, and other times I like to be Profadamus, as you so eloquently coined the phrase. But Doc, I'm gonna say go Chiefs go.
Ugh. Johnny with the I don't even know what to
Rope a
call
dope.
that.
That
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, boy.
was the
Let me
rope a dope right there.
take a quick look here. Um,
Now, just to also answer your other question too, the two receivers that you mentioned that was out were did practice on Tuesday, but they were limited. But their status hasn't upgraded to questionable yet.
right. So just go over the tail of the tape really quickly here. We're looking at the fourth ranked offense with the Chiefs and the sixth ranked offense with the Chargers. The Chiefs 24th ranked defense and the Chargers 16th ranked defense. Passing, Chiefs are sixth, Chargers are fifth. Rushing, Chiefs are 16th, Chargers are 21st. I'm going to go on the limb. I'm going to go with the statistics here.
Okay.
I'm usually not the data analyzing ninja,
Ooh.
but the data is telling me to pick the Chargers at home to beat the Chiefs. I think the Chargers figured out a way to play against the likes of scrambling quarterbacks. Um, I don't know if they still have the same weapons that they had years ago when, they put Lamar in a bottle. Um, but I believe that this team has it in them. I think they
And I've
have it in
been
them.
saying that for most of the year. It's just for me, it's their defense that's been questionable.
Well, both defenses are going to be questionable at this point, but we'll see what happens. Um, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But you choose the Chiefs, I choose the Chargers. I think this is perfect going into Thursday night, which anything can happen. Thursday night football, right?
And how apropos that you said anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
As
Anything.
the big news
Uh,
of the evening, breaking
oh yeah,
news, like a thief in the night,
yeah, yeah.
we had a coaching firing, letting go. It was a firing, folks.
Yeah,
Jacksonville Jaguars in their front office said, okay, it's time for us to move on from the Urban Myers experience as they let go head coach Urban Myers, relieved him of his duty after 13 games, Doc. I've always said it was never a matter of if, only when.
true. And I thought that he might have gotten beyond the season. And, when I look at some of the other coaches that remained on the sideline for years
Mm-hmm.
who, had similar issues, I would say, I didn't think that Urban, who signed a 5-year contract, would get the axe this early. Um, but the latest news, and I don't know if, you know, I don't know, how. Let's put it like this way. I don't know if this is something that's done, playfully or whatever, but the kicking of the kicker, um,
Which that by itself is just mind boggling.
yeah, hey, make your freaking kicks. I mean, who kicks a kicker in the leg, first of all?
Who kicks another grown person in the leg?
I mean, who kicks a grown person, period, really, when you think
Thank you.
about it? It's like, um, who throws a shoe? That's something I could think of. But yeah, I don't know, Urban. But I am happy that after years of trying and after years of coordinating, that Darrell Bevell gets an opportunity to be head coach. Um,
As the interim, at least, but at least this is
yeah,
a good interview for him.
I think this is going to be great. I think a lot of people wanted him to be a head coach. It was a few coordinators that people wanted to be coach, and I think the Jaguars will turn around. They'll put a strong showing for the rest of the season under Bevel. Um,
Yep.
Obviously, I don't even know who the other coordinators are
But but
in
but but
Jacksonville.
think about this. Think about this juxtaposed real quickly, Doc.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, there were so many other uh people who could have gotten hired for this role. And here's a few of them because I have a small list
Okay,
of
that
it.
was good. I'm glad you have a list.
Okay. Eric Bieniemy, remember him?
Would have been a great choice. That's what I was going to say. Him and Bevel. Yeah, go ahead.
Robert Saleh, who of course is now in New York.
He would have did. He would have did pretty good in Jacksonville.
Raheem Morris,
He deserves another shot.
and Arthur Smith, offensive coordinator of Tennessee.
I'm not sure about that one. Only reason I'm not sure about that one is because Arthur. When I think about anybody that works for Tennessee, like think about Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
and you think about um, a lot of offensive coordinators. You think about it, and it's like it's one thing to be a great coordinator. Matt Nagy. I mean, Matt Nagy's a great example. Like it's one thing to be an offensive coordinator, right?
It's another thing to become a head coach.
Right, and you think about it, right? Matt Nagy was what the offensive coordinator of the Chiefs previously, right?
Yep.
Um, so it's like when you think about it, there, if you hire Arthur Smith from the Titans, what are the Titans' biggest right? Uh, their biggest weapon, right? Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
He's not bringing Derrick Henry with
I
him.
mean, to be honest, they've been doing good without him too.
They have not as great, um, but you're also not bringing
But
Ryan
it
Tannehill with you
shows
either.
adaptability though,
Right, of course.
which is a
To an
great trait.
extent, I would say to an extent, yeah. I mean, I'm just using that as an example.
Of
I mean,
course.
but if you were hiring Arthur Smith based on his offense that he runs in Tennessee, we know that it's predicated on Derrick Henry, and
Of
then
course.
secondly Ryan Tannehill. Wherever he's going, did Jacksonville have a Derrick Henry or a Ryan Tannehill? Trevor Lawrence, could he have been? Absolutely. I don't know what kind of offense they ran there. Darrell Bevell was a great offensive coordinator, but again, with Darrell Bevell, right? Who I believe, and where was Darrell Bevell at? He in Seattle? Oh, where was he? Let me look really quickly. He was in Seattle.
Okay. I was about to give you that, but I figured you would
Yeah, he
get
was.
it.
Yeah, I figured he was in Seattle. I think he might have been in Detroit at one
Yep.
point.
He was actually
Um,
the interim head coach for Detroit.
right. So in Seattle, Seattle is where he got a lot of his work. I mean, people were really on the radar, Seattle. And then he went to Detroit, and now here he is in Jacksonville. Um, Now, in Seattle, Darrell Bevell was the man. But again, Darrell Bevell had who? Russell Wilson. He had beast mode, right? He had all these great players. So it's interesting to see. But I mean, I'm hoping that he does a pretty good job in Jacksonville. Hopefully, he gets the nod. We'll see if the Cons say, "Hey, we'll just let Darrell Bevell take over if he can show us something," which is funny and apropos that I'm still reading Gridiron Genius by Michael Lombardi. Um, and I'm on that chapter where the question is what to ask an NFL head coach. And the previous chapter was pretty much finding the head coach, in which Michael Lombardi talks about, leadership. He talks about commanding the room. He talks about, being being in self control. Um, he talks about a few different things, but it's so funny that the cons will have to kind of go through this, and it would be interesting if they consider somebody like Michael Lombardi to come in and help them with this. But Darrell Bevel is a good replacement for the time being. He has experience, and I'll be interested to see how it goes and if they give him the nod. But with that, I want to jump into the QB rankings really quickly here. We've gone over Thursday night. We've gone over the firing for the thief of the night. But number one here, we got Tom Brady still kicking. Um, Obviously, with the big overtime win against the Bills, he hit Sean Perriman on the run. And easily could have just set him up for a field goal, but took him to the victory. They barely moved their ball in the second half, but I mean, Dennis Allen's defense has always been good, and he's also another person that could get another opportunity. Dennis Allen, has been a great defensive coordinator for many years. Number two, we have Aaron Rodgers, who, like I said, I mean, he's just been playing really well. I know the toe has been bothering him, but the Packers own the Bears, and I think number two is a good slot for him. I wouldn't put him anywhere else. Number three, Kyler Murray. I could see why they didn't move him anywhere. He did make a few mistakes that could have dropped him. Of course, the interceptions could have dropped him, but a lot of his players helped him. And honestly, I'm not sure. Maybe I would drop him. He didn't have the greatest game. And when I look at 4 and 5, I feel like maybe dropping Kyler Murray one slot could have helped, but I don't think any of these other players I'd want at number three. So number four, we have Justin Herbert. And of course, we're going to see how he plays tonight. He's a part of that group. That's a part of the next wave. Obviously, you got Mahomes, you got Murray, you got Allen, you got Lamar Jackson, you got Baker Mayfield, and you got Justin Herbert. Of course, who I mentioned, they'll always be tied within 4 to 5. You got Joe Burrow, right, in that mix as well. But Justin Herbert, without his two starting receivers, still found a way to dominate the Giants, um, and it's been pretty awesome. Um, so we'll have to wait and see what he does tonight against the Chiefs. I think that he'll be just perfect, and we'll see what happens here. Number five, we got Matthew Stafford. Um, who played a pretty clean game. I think I mentioned he almost had EFL numbers, but he did a great job staying in the game versus the Cardinals. He managed to took a few sacks that I didn't like, but I can see why Matthew Stafford would be number five on the QB ranking this week. And again, I don't think anybody would overthrow Kyler at number three.
No.
Justin Herbert at number four is perfect. I think Matthew Stafford at number five is good. Number six here we got Josh Allen.
I
Um,
mean, stat wise, I can see why he's number six. I mean, if we're
yeah,
just looking at just him, absolutely. If it was just his team by itself, absolutely not. Like his stat still looks
yeah,
good, but the team has not been playing well.
yeah, but he did a great job. I mean, he ran for 100 something yards against the Bucks. I mean, he's
That's
banged
all
up.
they're rushing.
I
Like
mean,
that stinks.
it is, but that was by choice. Again, that has nothing to do with him. That was by choice.
That's the play calling.
Um, Yeah, that has nothing to do with him. So I can see why he would raise up three slots. He really did his best job to try to carry the Bills to a
Hmm.
victory. But he just fell short due to playing against Tom Brady in that perfect pass. Number seven here, we got Joe Burrow moving up 4 slots to number seven. Obviously, another battling quarterback similar to Josh Allen. Joe Burrow almost capped off a comeback against the 49ers. They just
Yep.
fell short um, based on the play calling, of course, as well as, I mean, the 49ers give 49ers credit. I mean, they were able to,
To lock it down when it mattered.
yeah, when it mattered, exactly. Number eight, dropping 2 slots, Derek Carr. Um, he just got beat up by the Chiefs, who
That's pretty
are,
much like that's it.
yeah.
Like they just got beat up by the Chiefs.
And I mentioned Dennis Allen possibly getting another opportunity from the Saints defensive coordinator. I think Steve Spagnuolo may also get an opportunity again one day to become a head coach. But again,
I don't
playing,
know. He's way better as a DC than
you
NHC,
just never
honestly.
you just never know. You just never know.
Or
Just
maybe
get an
it's
opportunity.
now, it's a new day
Yeah,
and
because
it
I
could be
mentioned
something completely different.
Because I mentioned that I was reading Gridiron Genius
Awesome.
by Michael Lombardi earlier, and it talked about Rex Ryan in the book and how Rex, when he was head coach of the Jets and the Bills, he often separated himself from the offense. As a head coach, obviously you can't do that. You have to be, you got to be in
You
all
got to be
facets of
everywhere.
the game.
Yep.
And I think that could be a situation where offensive defensive coordinators rely too heavily on their coordinators rather than being in all facets. And I could be honest, the first part of the season I did the same thing. So like I relied heavily on the defense that was already created rather than you know interjecting and being a part of the defense, and really embracing it. Oftentimes I relied on the fact that I didn't create the defense, so I could see why that would happen. Number nine, Dak Prescott falling 5 slots. I
Yeah.
understand completely.
Yeah.
Again, the football team, in the first half, they just didn't look good. But Dak didn't help the Cowboys too much.
Nope.
And his return season, isn't looking the best,
He's still going to win comeback player of the year.
of
Like,
course.
that's without saying.
Yeah,
But this
yeah.
was a really, really, like, the Denver game was really, really bad.
Oh
This
yeah.
was the second really, really bad game for him.
But they were able to win this, and thank goodness, right? Because I didn't think they looked great against the
But
Saints
like I
either.
said, they're well, and the Saints too, yeah. So this the third really bad game. But like the defense played well, but then the offense kind of splutter. And then we have the vice versa. Like they don't have that balance, perfectly balanced
Yeah,
uh game yet throughout the season. And I mentioned that's gonna hurt them, but this was just a really bad game for Dak.
yeah. And the number 10 moving up 2 slots back into the top 10. Patrick Mahomes
He
said,
deserved
"How
it.
dare
He
you?
he he
How
deserved it.
dare you drop me out of the top
He
10?
said, "You're gonna put some
You
respect in my
bums."
name."
Six. He led the Chiefs to 6 straight scoring drives, which included 4 touchdowns in the first half.
Yep.
It seems like Patrick Mahomes is like, okay, December football, I need to own this, and they have. I think that's where they are, and he's putting together a great season: 3,642 yards, 27 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He does have 7 fumbles. But he's putting together a very, very great season, despite what others may feel as a struggle for the Chiefs. Some notable mentions: Kirk Cousins drops 4 slots to number 11. I mean,
So he
that game.
unfortunately he had to go down because others went up.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson, played 10 snaps. I'm surprised he didn't drop down further.
I
But
felt like he should have dropped further.
Mac Jones had a bye week. Russell Wilson slowly but surely just kind of
Is
sticks around,
hmm
and rounded at number
which is
15.
still insane. He
Carson
only
Wentz.
he only has four picks in the year.
Well, he didn't play a lot, so
I know, but
he
even
didn't play a
still,
lot.
like
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Russ never throws interceptions like that though, so I get it. I think if he played more, they probably would be in a better spot, but they have some building to do, so we'll wait and see what happens. But Johnny, we went over Thursday Night Football. We went over Urban Meyer, some of the coaches that the Jags might be able to throw in there, and the QB ranking. I think all that's left is I know that people heard this podcast on their favorite podcast platform. But if they didn't, they can always go to our website at www.debateamongstfriends.com to review this episode as well as all the previous. Be sure to tune in tomorrow as we go over this Thursday night game, as well as a preview of all the Saturday and Sunday football games.
yes, because we do
Um,
have it on Saturday.
yes, but we'll also give you the news, the analysis, and the reads.